Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I haven't been, posting consistently on this channel. I haven't posted in a while, but we're back. Trust me, we are back on the grind. Back ready to make quality content for y'all, getting it out as quick as possible. Best way I know how. Quality. Today's video, reacting to Jason McIntyre and what he had to say on the Pacers Thunder finals matchup. Had some very interesting takes I would like to comment about. And yeah, if y'all enjoying and messing with the content, give a like, subscribe, do all those good things. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, Jason McIntyre, he's known for his horrendous takes, not really being a advanced NBA fan. But nonetheless, here we are. Let's see what he has to say on this finals matchup. I'll give my opinion.
OKC, Indiana. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not that excited for these NBA finals. I joke that Colin is the elitist here on the show, but maybe it's me. Because, if I were the NBA, I would have changed its motto to give me super teams or give me death. Because that's what I like. I like superstars in the NBA finals, and we don't really have that. We don't have dynasties. We got debuts, and that just isn't as sexy as what we've had here in the last, quarter century.
We don't have superstars, so it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of the league, who's been averaging 30, who's a great defender who can get inside. Is he not a superstar to you? What classifies a player being is winning the MVP, not making you a superstar, and the way he's played throughout these last 2 to 3 seasons does not make him a superstar? Talking about we don't have dynasties. Is that all that matters? Do we not care about the basketball being played with one of the best defensive teams possibly of all time, one of the best defensive teams in this modern era, taking on a Pacers team that could push the floor, push the pace? It's offense versus defense. That's not exciting to you. The prospect of good basketball isn't exciting. Only way you're going to watch basketball is if there's a good storyline. If that's what you need. That's not a real NBA fan. That's just a casual, and we shouldn't have casuals up here on national television and quote unquote analyzing basketball. That's not what we should be having. That's not what we should have going on.
Folks, let's be real. When the NBA had super teams, this century, it was at the height of its popularity. I mean, come on. You put LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie in the finals? That's a lot of pop.
And those were some of the most boring finals of the 2010s. The 2017 finals was boring. Everybody knew what the outcome was going to be. Everybody knew the Warriors were going to win it. And by the time 2018 came, people were tired of the same tired narrative with the Warriors and the Cavs running it back again. People wanted to see anybody but the Warriors and but Cleveland in the finals. People were rooting for James Harden, who people didn't like because he was known at that time as an egregious foul baiter. They would rather see him in the finals than those Warriors teams. They were rooting for the Celtics over the Cavs. They didn't want to see LeBron in the finals. There was a point where they didn't want to see Golden State in the finals. We wanted something new. And if that's all that matters to you is dynasties, well, that's all that matters to you, then you are not a true fan of basketball, buddy. We want good basketball, and that's what's being played, good competitive basketball, and that's what's being played in these finals. And if you want dynasties, you could look at OKC as a potential dynasty. Look at the roster that they've built up from the ground. Could you not consider that a potential dynasty? It's just this Kevin Durant, I think, said a quote like this. It was NBA fans are the biggest haters of the NBA, and it's 1,000% true. And it's things like this that makes me question people who quote love the NBA or NBA fans, NBA fanatics, NBA experts. This doesn't make sense.
juice. I mean, Kyrie Irving, he had a movie. Okay. Kevin Love was ascending in Minnesota. LeBron changed teams.
What does having a movie have to do with playing basketball on the basketball floor? What does that have to do with the on-court production that we're seeing from both teams? Absolutely nothing, does it, Jason?
And became the villain in Miami. But you look at those super teams in Cleveland, Miami, hell, the greatest team ever assembled in NBA history. Yes, that's true. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Do you know how much excitement that was leading up to the finals? When you had all those stars gathered together, hell, you could even go back to the Boston Celtics with our guy here, Paul Pierce, when he got Kevin Garnett gifted to him and Ray Allen going up against Kobe and Gasol in the finals. Folks, that was star wattage. Those finals were incredible. And I don't know about you, but I know the NBA loves, hey, we're about to have our 7th champion in 7 years.
Which is great for basketball, by the way, having parity. I don't understand where this is coming from, especially from all the fans who just what maybe half a decade ago were begging for parity and praising parity are now the ones against it because viewership is down. You're not an executive. What does viewership and ratings do for you? It does nothing. You don't work for ESPN. You don't work for TNT, NBC, the league office. Why does ratings and popularity matter? It does not matter to you. What should matter is be should be the basketball that is being played. And if the basketball that is being played is good basketball, we should be praising what's going on, not saying it's boring. If you don't like watching good basketball, what does that make you? Not a fan of basketball, not whatever he's talking about.
Hooray! Hooray for socialism in the NBA. Folks, I'm sorry, but think back to that Denver Miami Heat series. You remember anything from that one? I had to ask the staff this morning, hey, how many games did that go? I don't remember it.
Because you're not a real fan, buddy. You're not a fan of basketball. You are casual. If I remember correct, that series had two great games in game two and game five that came down to the wire. If that series wasn't the greatest series, but that's not because the series was, oh, it's two small market teams. I don't care about small market teams. That doesn't matter to me. I care about the basketball that is being played. And if the basketball that's being played is good basketball, that's what I want to see. It just so happened in 2023 that series wasn't the best in terms of basketball being played because it was a 1 seed taking on an 8 seed that was just gas.
5 game series. It was not great. Even Phoenix, Milwaukee. You know, you had ascending Giannis, ascending Devin Booker.
You didn't enjoy the Phoenix Milwaukee series? That game, what, 4, 5, 6 run? Where I had those three great games, you're not a fan of basketball. You are a NBA casual who only watches for the big names, but you don't really care about basketball, and that's what I'm seeing here because you are discounting a great series like the Bucks and the Suns just because it wasn't two super teams or it wasn't New York versus LA or Boston versus the Lakers just because it wasn't that makes it a bad finals, even if the basketball being played was very good. That doesn't make sense. That is a casual at its finest. This we can't keep letting these people go on national television and say this and just hating on the NBA and on good basketball because they'd rather see something out of a script like this is a movie. They'd rather see just superstars go at it, which is cool. I'm not saying superstars are bad. I'm saying we should care about good basketball more than we care about, oh, let's see LeBron and Curry.
That series didn't have any pop. I think Giannis dropping 50 in the decisive game was about it. But like, those weren't great, memorable series. Again,
The Bucks Sun series was not memorable for you because you do not care about good basketball. If you are a true basketball fan who watched that series through and through, you know that that was a very good series. not an elite series, maybe not an all-time series, but a very good series that you could go back from and be like, yeah, that had great games in that series.
Again, the super teams, they provided that. And I like Tyrese Halliburton as much as the next guy. You guys know I've been a big Indiana Pacers fan. In the finals, I just don't really see it. And I'm gonna bash Adam Silver here a little bit because you're the reason we've got this. You wanted it. I know you're doing the bidding of the owners, but going away from super teams and pushing toward, hey, everybody's got a chance. I don't know that that's the answer.
And I don't agree with Adam Silver on anything, but this is the one thing I can agree with that bald-headed white man on is that parity is good for the NBA. Now, I want to segue this into my second point, which is using the hindsight of a game one. Are we still not excited? Is this series still boring? Is it still terrible? Does it still not have the appeal? Because if it doesn't, then my question to you is, what more do you want? We got a good game one with a great finish, one of the all-time moments in NBA history. And if that's not good enough for you to be excited about a series, then you're not a true basketball fan. You're truly a casual that only watches for LeBron and Curry. That's what I'm hearing for the storylines, not for the basketball. And that's not what we need with the people on national television getting paid to cover our sport. We need true basketball fanatics have that have true opinions about the game based on the basketball that's being played, not just based off the big name storylines or the big name teams. But with that being said, that will conclude this video. Just a little bit of a video on that. Yeah, we'll starting to grind back up. We'll be streaming tomorrow or tonight, depending on when y'all watching this. Might be a late upload. Game two between the Pacers and the Thunder for real ball knowers who enjoy basketball and wanna tune in, tap in with us. And yeah, we'll see you for the next video. With that being said, have a great rest of your evening, night, day, whenever you're watching this. Peace.